Year 4, I hope you're all well and staying safe. Now I want you to take your pencils and your papers out and write down the long date, Monday, 22nd of June 2020, and the LI to identify features of a persuasive text. Good job, everyone. And I just want to say that I went through the work that was sent to me on your note-taking skills, and I just want to say that I received some brilliant pieces of work. I could really see that you use the videos and the information to do your research and to take efficient note taking. So well done to all of you who did that. Okay, so now let's talk about the purpose of our information text. So we are writing an information leaflet to persuade people to save the bees by looking after the environment. So keep this in mind, and now we're going to be looking at some persuasive features and techniques and how we can use this in our information leaflet. Firstly, let's discuss what is a persuasive text. It's a text which argues a point of view to convince the reader to agree with the author. So in your information leaflet, you're going to be convincing the reader to save the bees. What can we find in a persuasive text? An opening statement to introduce your point of view, arguments to state your point of view and reasons for each argument, and conclusion to summarize your arguments and repeat your point of view. How is the text organized? It's organized into paragraphs to make it easier to read. What's in a persuasive text? An opening paragraph including opening statements and a list of arguments. The main body paragraphs, so approximately one argument in each paragraph, and you can support your argument with 2 reasons, and a concluding paragraph to summarize your argument and restate your point of view. So what features are present in persuasive writing? So persuasive writing is written in the present tense. My turn, present tense. Your turn, present tense. Over here are some examples of sentences written in the present tense. Children spend too much time doing homework. Dogs are the greatest pets for kids, and fidget spinners are a popular toy. So these are all headings for a persuasive text and arguments. So children spend too much time doing homework. This is an argument, and in the text, the writer will be arguing for this and giving reasons for why this is true. Logical connectives are used in persuasive writing to make the arguments flow. So examples of this are because, however, this shows, therefore, and time connectives are used to begin the main body paragraphs. For example, firstly, secondly, finally. When writing persuasive text, always use facts. It gives evidence and proof to your arguments. So when we're writing the information leaflet on bees, we have to use facts. So what are some facts that you know about bees? Pause and have a think. Excellent. So facts that we know are that pesticides are causing them to be endangered. That's one bee. We know that there are different species of bees. We know that there is the queen bee. These are all facts. They're true. Give a reasonable argument to get the reader interested and on your side. Interest the reader by using interesting, strong, and emotive words. And simple sentences to help the reader understand your argument. So in our information leaflet, we can also have bullet points as well, because we don't want too much writing, because we want to engage the reader. And persuasive writing is about informing the reader about a subject and convincing them to agree with you. So choose a topic that you believe in. So using strong, clear, emotive language helps the reader to agree with you. Below are some helpful phrases that are used in persuasive writing. It is outrageous that, it's disgraceful that, it's concerning that, or how could we possibly? So these are all sentence starters that you can use in your writing. Okay, so let's look at more features. When three adjectives or phrases are used together to make them stand out, this is known as groups of three. My example sentence is bees are important, helpful, and useful. So, what are the important phrases over here? Important phrases are important, helpful, and useful. Repetition. Words or phrases are repeated so that they stick in the reader's mind. An example sentence: do not forget that bees are important for the environment. Do not forget that humans rely on them to produce our food. What are the repeated phrases in these sentences? Pause and take a close look. Do not and do not. So this is really emphasizing the point that bees are important and that we rely on them, so this will stick in the reader's mind. Superlatives. Words that show that something is the best or the most. Example: best, coolest, fastest, most wonderful, best, most amazing, loveliest, and freshest. Emotive language. When words are used to make the reader feel a certain emotion, like sadness or anger. Example: the poor helpless bees are endangered due to the pesticides killing them. So now this sentence is using emotive language to make the reader feel, what emotion do you think this is going to make the reader feel? Happy, sad? Pause and have a think. It's supposed to make them feel sad and sorry for the bees. And what emotive language is used in this sentence? Excellent, well done. Poor and helpless. Now, can you come up with your own sentence using emotive language to talk about the bees, something about the bees that you can use in your information leaflet? I want you to write it down. Great job, everyone. Exaggeration. When information is given that is over the top or slightly untrue. Example: if people do not start caring about bees, I am going to move to the moon. Now, obviously, I am going to move to the moon is an exaggeration and it's untrue because it's not possible. But this is just to emphasize how passionate we are about the bees. Rhetorical question. Using questions that don't need an answer to get the audience to think. So, could you live with yourself if all the bees became extinct? Now, we all know that this doesn't really require an answer. This type of question is there to help the reader think, and of course the answer will be no. So now we're going to take a look at this persuasive text. Now I want you to read this example, underline the title, what point of view does it have, and what arguments are there, the reasons, and any persuasive language that you can see. So you can pause it and read it out loudly as well to develop the fluency of your reading, and then you can unpause the video and then I'll read it. Good job. Children should stop watching television. It is strongly believed that watching television is bad for children. It is not educational. It creates laziness and it increases bad behavior. Firstly, as television involves watching, not thinking, it is not educational. When children are not thinking, they are not using their imagination, which is tragic. A lack of thinking and imagination can also affect a child's schoolwork. Secondly, when watching television, students are sat for long periods of time. Sitting still for a long time can create bad habits like not wanting to play outside, which in turn can affect a child's health, weight, and friendships. Okay, so what features did you notice over here? Let's go through it together. We have the title, children should stop watching television. So watching television is bad for children. This is the point of view of the writer. Not educational, it creates laziness and it creates bad behavior. So this is the argument. Now let's see the reasons behind this argument. So this paragraph and this paragraph over here, these are reasons behind the argument. And what do you notice? What do these paragraphs start with? They start with firstly and secondly. And what feature is this. These are time connectives. So far we have 1, 2, and 3 paragraphs, and we know we need paragraphs to make it easier for the reader to read the information. And tragic, this is emotive language. Now, did you notice anything else? You can write it down. Let's move on. So finally, there are countless shows on television that are not appropriate for children to watch. Some of these show swearing, being mean, bad manners, and fighting. If children watch shows that have these things in them, it is possible they will think these behaviors are okay in real life. This means that children can become rude and violent. In conclusion, it is obvious that children watch too much television and should be stopped. This is because children's education, physical fitness, and behavior are at risk. Make yourself smarter, fitter, and better. Behave today by not watching television. What else did you know? Now you can pause the section and see what other features you noticed. Excellent. So another argument behind why children shouldn't watch television. And smarter, fitter, and better. What feature was this? This was the group of 3 to emphasize the points. Now, after reading this text, are you persuaded not to watch television, or do you think you'll still continue watching television? You can write it down, and maybe you can persuade me that watching television is a good idea. Excellent. So now, let's go through our task. This is a 1-star activity. You have to match the sentence with the persuasive techniques. So over here, the sentences, and on the right side are the persuasive techniques. So for example, you have repetition. You have to read through each of the sentences and see which one is the correct definition, and you can go through the slides to help you. So if you don't feel so confident, you can start with the 1-star technique, and this will be uploaded on the Year 4 online learning platform. The 2-star activity, you read this example of a persuasive text, just like we did, and you underline the title, the point of view, the arguments, the reasons behind the arguments, and any persuasive language or features that you notice. And remember, you may not notice every single feature in this persuasive text, but the ones that you do, you can point it out. And then you read this letter for your 3-star activity, and it's exactly the same as a 2-star activity. You do the same thing. You underline the key features. And remember that formal letters are also forms of non-chronological reports. Excellent. Once you're done, you can take a picture and send it over to year4@grange.harrow.sch.uk. Now, if you have a printer, you can print this out, and if you don't, that's absolutely fine. You don't even need to write down the whole letter. You can just write down, for example, the features like emotive language equals, and then you can write down the emotive phrases that you notice. Or for example, if you want to write paragraphs, and then you can write how many paragraphs are present. So you don't need to write down the whole letter. It's fine if you don't. And remember that tomorrow we have a spelling test, so make sure you get some last minute revision done so that you can get 5 out of 5. And well done everyone, and see you in our next lesson.